I'm Anthony Gallegos, design lead on Subnautica 2. We'll be inviting you on a futuristic underwater survival adventure set in an all-new mysterious alien world. The whole team believes that Subnautica 2 is shaping up to be our biggest and most ambitious Subnautica game ever, and we can't wait until you dive in. We've taken everything that we've learned from our experience on the previous games, and we've poured it into Subnautica 2. We're working with veterans of the Subnautica series, but have also brought on some new faces, so you know you'll be in good hands. But we're also ready to shake things up. For the first time, you'll have the chance to experience Subnautica 2 with your friends in co-op. But whether you choose to play solo or with friends, we hope each descent into the depths is more thrilling than ever. If that sounds awesome to you, then join us for early access later in 2025. You'll be there when we first add new vehicles, craftables, biomes, and leviathans. And you'll be able to tell us exactly what you think as we continue to develop the game alongside you.
Hello, I am Seth, Senior Narrative Designer on Subnautica 2, a sequel to the events of Subnautica, Subnautica Below Zero, and Natural Selection. For the last 3 years, it has been my privilege to help build our new world, a place of constant change, where the sea is alive and hungry, the rules of evolution are different, and alien DNA seeps into your bones. Here, you might be the last human being in the universe, or the first member of something new. Speaking of universes, here is one of our world builders.
Hi, I'm Artium, a level designer here at Unknown Worlds helping create the world of Subnautica 2. And just like the previous two games, Subnautica 2 is entirely handcrafted. Our first step is to create a paper design, after which we use primitive shapes like blocks and cylinders to create a block out of the area. We make sure scale, depth, and progression all feel good. After which, we work with environment artists to create an asset kit. Rocks, plants, and anything we can use to set dress is made. We then refine the area before handing it off to other departments. One challenge we faced in Subnautica 2 was asset seams, and that's because we chose not to use voxels in Subnautica 2 like the predecessors. That's when we came across Tor, a community member who made a plugin called Mesh Blend. It's a post-processing effect which blends pixels along asset seams based on a preset blend size. It's not native to Unreal and something we're super excited to debut. Thank you so much, and I can't wait until you swim through our world.
Hey, I'm James Stout, environment artist on Subnautica 2. I'll give a quick demo on how we create parts of the world. We use a mixture of hand-sculpted and procedural workflows to create larger, complex assets. Here, I'm generating a juvenile variant of a larger organism you'll find in the world. This younger version is more squat than its mature siblings, so I'm using a procedural system we created in Blender to shorten the length of its tendrils. I pack a bunch of technical data into the model's vertex color channels. This technique helps us keep texture memory costs very low, even on a large asset. Tricks like this help us keep the game running smooth on a wide range of hardware. After getting this creature into the engine, I'm moving over to working on biome terrain sculpting with a focus on naturalism. The world needs to feel like a world, and less like a diorama made for a player. It's a tricky balance. We take a lot of our cues from Subnautica 1, where naturalism and gentle player direction are well tuned against each other. Finally, to bridge the difference in scale between fine sand and large rocky outcrops, I use Ben Hale's rubble meshes to push a more convincing result. I love sculpting rocks, but I could never pretend to enjoy it as much as Ben.
Rocks!
Hi all, my name is Ben Hale. I'm a senior environment artist here at Unknown Worlds. I have a special interest in natural geology, or rocks. I've developed a specific pipeline for this project. I'm using a series of interlocking meshes and displacement, using a height map that I built inside of Substance Designer. Using the UVs, I'm able to offset and find details and general shapes that I find interesting. And then I'll do the final offset inside of ZBrush, which you can see here, as well as a final sculpting pass using various brushes, including some custom brushes that I built myself. Using this pipeline, we can do some really crazy things. Here's the tufa kit that I've developed for the project, and these rocks are some of the biggest that I've ever made in my entire career. Our final poly count is usually around 700,000, sometimes breaking 1 million, but we try not to go over that. You can see how detailed it can get using our custom texturing pipeline. Here's a demonstration as well of Mesh Blend. developed by Tor Lurvik, and it's pretty much changed how we do everything here. It's just black magic. Here you can see a preview of some of our minerals. This is using pretty much the same pipeline. Granted, it's more sculpting centric, and they're just as detailed. Thanks for taking it.
Hello Subnauts, I'm Donya, the Community Manager for Unknown Worlds.
And I'm Scott, or you might know me as Abraxas, the creative producer.
The response to our first Subnautica 2 devlog has been overwhelming. We've been reading through tens of thousands of comments that you left for us, and as you might be able to tell by the title of the video, today we're going to answer a few of your most common questions.
And we want to thank you all for your enthusiasm and excitement for Subnautica 2. While we might not be able to get to everything you want answered today, stay tuned for more Q&A videos in the future.
The answers today reflect current development, so make sure to follow us across our social channels and our Discord to stay up to date. We're at Subnautica on X, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube.
And with that, let's get started. So, Donya, when is Subnautica 2 Early Access coming out?
Great question. We understand that you really want to know the release date for Subnautica 2. We're not quite ready to share one just yet, but stay tuned to all of our social channels and on our official Discord to be among the first to hear when it's available later in 2025. Okay, here's another one that people have been asking a lot. Will Subnautica 2 be on PlayStation, Xbox, or Switch?
Well, currently we're working on the early access release on platforms that support game preview or early access programs, so that's PC and Xbox. We do plan to bring it to other platforms, but when the time is right. So we've been getting a lot of really big questions, and one of those for Subnautica 2 is there multiplayer or co-op in Subnautica 2? Donya?
Yes. So while Subnautica 2 is being crafted as a single player experience, you can optionally play it in cooperative multiplayer with up to 3 friends. So that equals 4 total players, including yourself. You can still dive into Subnautica 2 as a solo player. On the subject of multiplayer, Scott, will there be local split screen?
So while we won't be doing local split screen play, we will be supporting cross-play between both Xbox and PC platforms. And so yes, that means that if you're playing on PC, you can play with your friends on Xbox consoles. And one of the big questions I think people have been asking Donya is, how much will it cost, and is early access free?
So like Subnautica and Below Zero, Subnautica 2 Early Access will be a paid experience. If you are an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, Early Access will be available on day 1. As for how much it will cost, we will be announcing that at a later date, but please keep in mind that our Early Access price will be lower than it will be at full release. Okay, another one for all of our VR fans. Will VR be supported?
You know, while we're big fans of VR, and I have loads of headsets myself, we're not currently working on VR support, but who knows what could happen in the future. I think one of the questions we've got from players as well is, where's the setting? Is it still set on planet 4546b like the original games? What do you think, Dom?
No. So Subnautica 2 is actually set on a brand new world with all new mysteries, creatures, and experiences. So while you won't find the same things that you found in Subnautica or Below Zero, you will have some of your favorite tools, but improved. Okay, here's another big one. Will it support mods?
Like with VR support, right now, our focus and efforts are on making Subnautica 2 the best possible game and experience it can be for our players. Our studio was formed from a Half-Life mod called Natural Selection, so whilst we appreciate and respect all of the work our modding community do, official modding support during early access isn't something we're planning for, but we are excited to see what the modding community come up with during that time anyway. So moving on from questions, let's move to features people have been requesting, such as co-op with proximity voice chat, Donya?
So, proximity chat for co-op is a request that we've been hearing a lot across all of our channels. This is something that we'll need to take our time investigating. But while we're digging into that, we're sure that you'll be able to enjoy voice chat via Discord and other platform-based options at launch. Okay. Things that people want to know as well, map size and depth compared to the previous two games.
Oh, that's a good one. The playable map size will be bigger than what we originally launched in early access with on the original Subnautica, and even below Zero's early access release. But just how big and how deep you'll be able to go over the course of early access, we're not exactly sure yet. The entire world is being handcrafted by a talented team of world designers and environment artists, and they're pouring everything into the world right now. We're aiming for this to be the biggest and most exciting Subnautica game ever once we hit 1.0 in a few years' time. And how would you navigate that world? Well, with vehicles. And we've had a lot of people reach out about the Cyclops and Seamoth and even the Sea Truck from Below Zero. What do you think, Donya? Are they going to show up in Subnautica 2?
So we know how beloved and iconic the Cyclops and Seamoth are. We've heard and read all about your love and appreciation for them, and we love and appreciate them too. But while they won't be returning for Subnautica 2, we're working on new vehicles that are designed in the same spirit, just more suited to the brand new environment they need to navigate. And though a big sub won't be ready for the start of early access, know that the team is hard at work behind the scenes crafting one. Speaking of crafting bases and base building specifically, what is that going to be like in Subnautica 2?
Yeah, we all know you love base building. You may have caught a tiny glimpse of some of that during our first early access vlog, and we've been working on making base building better with more customization than ever before. You'll be able to make bases with shapes and in ways that you've always wanted, whilst keeping the same beautiful Subnautica aesthetic. We can't wait to see what awesome bases you're all going to create. And create you will. But what about character customization? What do you think, Donya? Are we going to have character customization?
So at early access launch, you'll be able to select from a handful of pre-designed characters, but we do know how important it is, especially with multiplayer, to have some freedom to express yourself as your character. And while that won't be something that we'll be introducing early on in the early access journey, it is something that we're keeping in mind. Okay, so this next section doesn't really fall under questions or feature requests. I think it's more like general concerns or feelings that people are having about just the general Subnautica series. And so one thing we've been hearing a lot is that, players want Subnautica 2 to feel more like the original Subnautica, so Subnautica 1.
Yeah, we've heard from many of you that you want the game to feel more like the first experience on the first Subnautica, and we've learned a lot of lessons from Subnautica and Below Zero, and we're pretty confident that we're improving on both to make sure Subnautica 2 is a fitting follow-up to those games. We're focusing on all of the amazing moments that the power of player discovery can deliver, as well as creating the atmosphere that provides the same sense of awe as diving in for the first time did. We're also returning to having a silent protagonist in Subnautica 2, but that doesn't mean that we won't have the opportunity to showcase some amazing voice acting in PDA entries and in other areas. And we've heard that you're all excited about multiplayer, but worried that it could dilute the Subnautica experience. What can you say about that, Donya?
Yeah, I mean, Subnautica 2 is being crafted as a single player experience that you can optionally invite your friends to play alongside you. So while we're trying to create those feelings of isolation and terror that were beloved in both Subnautica and Below Zero, how that will feel in multiplayer is something that we won't really be able to predict. Everyone's experience in multiplayer will be different. But if that feeling of like isolation and terror is kind of the most important thing to you, you can always jump back into single player mode to preserve that feeling.
Well, that's everything we've got time for today, so let's wrap things up. We want to thank you, the community, for joining us on the journey towards Subnautica 2 Early Access.
And don't forget, you can still ask us more questions and provide feedback or any thoughts that you're having about Subnautica 2 on our official Discord and across all of our other social platforms.
And we do have a new dev vlog on the way, so keep an eye out for that in the coming weeks.
So stay curious and keep diving.